So I became familiar with Fethullah Gulen about a year ago and started reading up on his background, his philosophy, his teachings, his readings. Thought he was a very interesting person. Clearly he's evolved over time like we all do, and his views have changed. People interpret him in different ways. That's very clear. But what I like is that he's really stayed on message in terms of promoting tolerance and making a big point of showing the world that Muslim individuals are three-dimensional as well, and espousing the values of education and peace, which is something that we really need more of. I think I'm interested to know his views on gender. I've read about that fairly extensively. I think the women's movement right now globally is at a critical point, and it's important for people to speak out for women's rights. I very much like that Fethullah Gulen has consistently said that he sees women as equal participants in society. I think that's a very positive message. I'd like to hear it from everybody. And I think even doing more would benefit the women's movement. The most fundamental value that I saw in Hizmet is the idea of service, or Hizmet. And I think putting real-life expression to the values is what is most appealing to me and to others. So it's not just about believing something, it's about living it, and it's about walking the talk and putting your principles to action. I think that's very appealing, especially in ways that serve others. So many of us can relate to that. The other messages that come through Hizmet, through Fethullah Gulen, for example, about tolerance and about moderation and about this idea that I mentioned earlier that Muslims are three-dimensional individuals just like everybody else. And everyone else that has their own religion is also a three-dimensional individual. And we can meet together on many different levels. So I think that's one of the things that really also makes it distinctive. I think what's interesting is the idea, for example, in America, we have a lot of generous people who give to various countries and causes, especially after disasters, or who are focused like philanthropists on specific issues and solving those issues. The question of how do you maintain that kind of generosity all of the time and as a general mindset, especially in a culture or in a world where we have attention deficit disorder and we have so many things coming at us and so many competing priorities, that's a really important question. How do we maintain that as a lifestyle, as a continuous principle that we align our lives and our values by? And I think in that sense, Hizmet does provide a framework, and it provides an ongoing support mechanism. So if you're even a group of individuals that want to get involved, you kind of know that you're part of something larger. And I think that's probably what's lacking from a lot of the ups and downs that we have with philanthropy and charity and giving. And we have many individuals that are committed to that throughout their whole lives, but we don't necessarily have as many frameworks that are reinforcing. So for that, I think it's a great model and a great idea to think about, how do we keep that going? How do we make that part of our everyday thoughts and feelings when we're getting up? How do we serve others as well as ourselves, and how do we translate that? I think Hizmet's emphasis on education is really important. It's probably the second most important message after the message of tolerance and peace. It's something that we need to emphasize. We're seeing all over the world that an education can make a difference in what people believe about the differences between themselves and others, the economic opportunities that are available to them, and general awareness. And I think it increases a country's ability to compete and to turn out the next generation of great thinkers. So I think it's an excellent focus for Hizmet.